how you doing? I hope you're all doing really well. Welcome back to my channel and to another midweek meals recipe meal ideas. I'm going to be featuring 3 in this video, and they are perfect autumn warmers, autumnal fall dishes that are going to get you in the mood for autumn. They're very comfort food, very warm and very delicious. Use a lot of good seasonal veg. And here's what we're going to be making. So we're going to be doing a delicious sausage, blackberry and fennel bake. We're also going to do a delicious pea and corn mince style curry. And then the third and final dish we're going to do is an apple cider and mushroom pie with cavallonero. So pie, curry and a tray bake. Dead easy, dead simple, good seasonal ingredients. If you do enjoy it, as always, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and let's get into it. So this evening's recipe is this, which is a sausage, blackberry and parsnip tray bake. It serves 4 people. I will leave the recipe linked down below, but essentially we're going to serve it with some cavallonero. We've got fennel, so again, really good seasonal produce. We've got some wholegrain mustard, some honey, red wine vinegar. We've got some red onions, some parsnips, blackberries, and a stock cube. And by all means you can use meat sausages if you'd like. Pork would be amazing, pork and fennel are like a match made in heaven. We're going for some meat-free sausages because we're veggie. We're doing Richmond meat-free. So yeah, literally 4 simple steps and we've got a delicious dinner in around an hour. So let's get cracking. Okay, so first thing you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 220 degrees, and in a large roasting tin you want to add some olive oil and then pop that into your oven to preheat. This just helps get the veg nice and crispy and cook the sausages. Okay, so first start off by peeling your parsnips. You can just do this with a speed peeler. You can leave the skins on if you prefer, and then you just want to top and tail the parsnips and then slice them directly down the middle and then into quarters. Try and keep them the same size so they cook evenly. Then with a red onion you want to half it, top and tail it, and then put it into quarters. Now you can keep these as chunky or as small as you'd like. I like them quite chunky to give them a bit of a bite. And then also with the fennel you want to top and tail the fennel, give it a wash and then halve it and keep the stalks on. And then once your oil is nice and hot, add all of your root veg into the pan. So that's your fennel, parsnips and onions. Then you want to add in your sausages. Like I say, we're using meat-free sausages, but you can use regular sausages if you'd like. They cook in the same amount of time. Give everything a good stir so it's coated in the oil. Season it with some salt and black pepper. You can drizzle a little bit of extra olive oil on as well if you feel like there isn't enough in the tray, and then pop that in the oven to roast for around half an hour until everything's starting to crisp up and look beautifully golden brown. Then I just prepped a pan for the cavallonero, so I'm just going to steam it, but of course you can roast it as well if you'd like. And then you want to prep a vegetable stock cube, and also in a ramekin pour in some honey and some wholegrain mustard and give that a stir. If you want to make this completely vegan, by all means you can use any like agave nectar or maple syrup. And then you just want to brew some stock and let that simmer down. Then reduce the temperature of your oven to 200 degrees, take out your tray bake, and look, it's all looking beautifully golden brown and crisp. So then pour over your vegetable stock that's just been sitting, and then give everything in the tray a good stir just to make sure everything's nice and coated and everything has a chance to get nice and crispy. Pop that back into the reduced temperature oven for around 10 minutes, and then I just steamed my cavallonero, so I popped some kettle water in. And then once it's had 10 minutes in the oven, you want to brush your sausages with this beautiful honey and wholegrain mustard glaze. Trust me, if you've never had honey and mustard sausages, you are missing out. They are delightful. So just give the sausages a nice little glaze, add in some fresh blackberries. Of course you can use frozen if you've got them in the freezer. Then pop that back in the oven for around 5 to 7 minutes. And then to finish it off, just add around 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. And I also reserved some of the tops of the fennel just to add a little pop of green at the end. You don't have to do this, it's just a bit fancy, but I just thought it looked quite nice. And that is your sausage, parsnip and fennel tray bake with blackberries. Oh my goodness guys, this just screams autumn. Root veg, roasted, with some wonderful cavallonero on the side. It's joyous. Really simple, really quick and very, very tasty. Hello everybody, welcome to the second midweek meal of this week. Do excuse the glasses. Today we're going to be making a delicious vegetable curry. It's a vegetable keema with peas and tomatoes. It's a little bit spiced. It's very, very nice. It's got some corn mince in there as well, so I'm going to show you the ingredients. Okay, so this is all of the ingredients you're going to need. Relatively simple ingredients, store cupboard, you can pick them up near enough everywhere. We've got some vegetable oil. We're using shallots, but you can use white onions if you prefer. you're going to need 2 lemons, 1 for the juice and then 1 to cut up and serve it with, some frozen peas, 2 garlic cloves, a green chilli, a potato. You can leave the potato out, the recipe doesn't actually require a potato, but we've got it to use up, some garam masala, mango chutney, ginger, frozen peas, 3 large tomatoes, these are beef tomatoes, tomato puree, and some corn. I recently said that I wasn't eating corn, however I did have it and I'm not actually reacting as bad as it used to be, so yeah, corn mince. And we're serving it with some poppadoms. Okay, so to start off, I top and tail the shallots and just remove the outer skin and then just finally slice those up. You don't have to be too particular with shallots, but you just want them to be nice and small. And then in a large pan, I added some vegetable oil and I popped the shallots in to saute down. These take around 5 to 7 minutes on like a medium heat. You don't want to rush them, you just want to make sure that they're nice and soft. In the meantime, I sliced a green chilli, just removed the seeds, and then I just finally sliced that up. Along with the green chilli, I also got 2 garlic cloves and just removed the skins using the back of the knife to do that, and then just finally sliced that up as well. And then I also did the same with some root ginger. I just removed the skin and then just chopped that up until it was kind of the same size as the chilli and garlic. And then once the onions were nice and soft, I added those 3 ingredients into the pan. Guys, the smell, oh my goodness, so good. Adding ginger into your curry is just, it's a great thing. So yeah, just stir all that together, making sure it's nice and coated in the oil. Then I added 1 teaspoon-ish of garam masala and just stirred all that together. I'll leave all of the measurements down below. And then I sliced up our potato. I didn't bother peeling it, I like the taste of it. I just give it a bit of a wash under the tap. And then I cut that into fairly small sized chunks just so it cooked when it was added into the curry, and added that straight into the pan with the onion, chilli, ginger and spice mix. I just stirred all that together, making sure it was nice and coated. And then I chopped up the tomatoes. I'm using beef tomatoes, so you can use whichever tomatoes you'd like, just making sure that they're kind of roughly the same size chunks as the potato, and just slice them up and pop them straight into the pan. And then just stir all that together to make sure everything's nice and coated and the tomatoes will start releasing their wonderful juices to make the base of your sauce. Now it's time to add your corn. If you are making this with meat, you can use regular mince or you can completely leave it out, it's up to you. Like I say, we haven't been eating corn, but it's been alright with me recently, so I popped it in along with some recently boiled kettle water, about 200 ml, and a tablespoon of tomato paste. I stirred all that together just to make sure everything was coated and the potatoes were submerged in the water so they had a chance to cook. And then I just popped the lid on and let that simmer for around 20 minutes. Then it was time to add in the frozen peas and a good squeeze of fresh lemon juice. Oh, this was just so good, guys. It really lifted the dish. I stirred all that together to make sure the peas were cooked. And then I seasoned it with a good scrunch of black pepper and some salt. I gave it one last final stir just to make sure everything was combined, and it was ready to serve. As you can see, it's kind of thickened up beautifully. The potatoes were cooked, everything was beautifully seasoned, and that is your amazing speedy curry. It was so good. I just served it with a lemon wedge on the side, some crispy poppadoms, a little dollop of yogurt and some wonderful mango chutney and some fresh parsley to garnish. And honestly guys, so good. It's kind of different to any other curry I've ever had, but it was delicious. Okay, so this is the last meal of the 3 midweek meals. Very autumnal. This is possibly my favourite I'm looking forward to this week. It is a mushroom, spinach and cider pie. Very autumnal, very hearty, very classic. Let me show you the ingredients. Okay, so it's quite a few ingredients, but a lot of them are very much store cupboard. So you're going to need 400 grams of chestnut mushrooms. You're also going to need a whole bag, ideally 235 grams of washed spinach, some puff pastry. We're not making our own, we just bought it. We've got some cheddar cheese and some butter, some mango chutney, mustard powder, an egg, a stock cube to make some stock, 3 shallots. We're serving it on the side of some cavolo nero, some plain flour, which is in a jar here, some organic vintage cider. It doesn't have to be organic, but it's just cider, some olive oil, and some thyme. And that's pretty much it. So let's get cracking. I will link this recipe down below. It's from a magazine, but I'll link everything featured in this video in the description box below. Okay, so to start off, we kind of halved and quartered the chestnut mushrooms. You want them to be nice and chunky to have a bit of a bite to them. So yeah, if your mushrooms are quite small, then you can keep them whole if you'd like. Something roughly like this. Then I topped and tailed a shallot and just sliced that up into nice small little chunks. And then I added some olive oil into our pan. This pan you can actually bake with, I'll come on to that later on, but if you do have a pan that can go in the oven, great. I added the onions, well, shallots and the butter into the pan as well, and just let that simmer away nicely until the onions softened. Then I added in the chopped up chestnut mushrooms, and you want these to go nice and brown, so just low and slow temperature for this, guys, and it'll be really, really nice. So yeah, just make sure it's all coated in the butter and oil and shallots. Meantime, I prepped the thyme, so I just had dry thyme leaves. If you've got fresh, that's fine, and just strip them back. You need about 8 in total. And then I just brewed some stock and let that sit. I also added in some whole powdered mustard. This is English mustard powder, straight into the pan, and stirred that in with the mushrooms. This just gave a wonderful depth of flavour. Then I added in all of the thyme stalks. It looks like a lot, but trust me guys, it works. Then I added in around 2 tablespoons of plain flour. I cooked the flour off before I added anything else, and then it was time to add in the cider now. Adding in the cider like this at this stage just cooks off the alcohol but leaves the wonderful, beautiful pear and apple taste. And as you can see, the flours help that thicken up beautifully. Then I added in the stock, gave that a nice stir. It might look a bit runny and a bit watery and not have a good consistency currently, but it will thicken up with the flour. I added in a good scrunch of salt and black pepper and gave that a good stir. Then it was time to prep your pastry while it's flipping away on the stove. So I just eyeballed, I was actually quite impressed how I did this. I eyeballed roughly a circle for the top of the pie, and then I also cut out some leaf shapes for decoration. You don't have to do this, I just thought it would be quite nice to show you guys with the excess pastry. Be as creative as you'd like. I'm just marking out some leaf patterns here, but like I say, you don't have to do this if you're struggling for time. I just think it looked quite nice, and it was a relatively easy dish. Then I added in a whole bag of spinach to the pan and just gave that a stir until it was nice and wilted down. And then the final step was to add in some mango chutney. Sounds a bit weird, but it added a beautiful sweetness to the dish. Now, if you are baking it in the pan, now is the time to add your cheddar cheese. I forgot to film this, but I added in some cubes of cheddar cheese before I put on the pastry. But if you are transferring this to a pie dish, then add your cheddar in and then top it. So I just popped the puff pastry directly onto the filling. I cut in 4 slices in the top to let the filling breathe. And then it was time for a bit of an egg wash, so I just popped it in a bowl with a pastry brush and just glazed the top and added on the pastry leaves. Now again, like I say, you don't have to do this, it just really looked nice at the end, and just making sure all of the pastry is beautifully coated with the egg glaze. This will just make it come out lovely and golden brown when it's baked. Making sure the full top is covered. I popped that in the oven for around 30 minutes and it came out beautifully golden brown. Look at that pie, guys. Oh my goodness, the cheese kind of like oozed out the sides. Oh, it was joyous. So you can serve this up just as it is or with some wonderful steamed greens. We did it with a delicious cavallonero as well because we had some left over. But truly guys, this is one of the most delicious pies. It can serve a family of 4 quite easily with some steamed greens on the side. It's very, very tasty, relatively healthy and very easy to make. So that's it guys, I really hope you have enjoyed these 3 midweek recipes that are very autumnal, hearty and perfect as the nights are drawn in. If you have enjoyed it, as always, if you could give it a thumbs up and don't forget to click subscribe, that would be amazing, and I'll catch you all very soon in a future video. Bye for now.